Go ahead, Nicolette.
Okay. Long-term care administrators board meeting is convening at 10:32 a.m. on January 25th, 2022 at the Health Licensing Office in Salem, Oregon by telephone conference call. I will now call roll. Nicolette Riley, I'm here, obviously. Amy Brown.
Here. Sorry, had to unmute.
Mary Rita Hurley.
Here.
Maggie Hilton.
Here.
Christine Prather.
Here.
Dane Jensen.
Here.
Okay, great. Members, when you wish to speak, please state your last name for the record. For the record, public members calling into the public phone line are asked to email April Fleming at april.fleming@bhsooj.state.or.us and provide your first and last name. Public and interested parties' feedback may be heard during the public interested parties' feedback period if indicated on the agenda. It looks like we do have Catherine, who has just joined the call. So Catherine, can you say here?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Everyone is asked to use appropriate language, manners, and protocols when conducting board business, and this meeting is called to order.
All right, thanks, Nicolette. This is Sylvie. So we just needed to do a quick meeting. We had you guys, hopefully you've read the memo that's in there, and we'll just do a little bit of quick background. We had you guys approve a smaller exam, which was only 50 questions, sorry, to get that up on Workday so that individuals who are coming through the grandfather clause and everybody trying to deal with the pandemic could take the test without having to come into the office. That was intended for that. So now we need to have a discussion about what we want to do moving forward. This is not now for the grandfather people, because that part is done. That was over as of December 31st. However, the pandemic, yeah.
So I'm sorry, this is Ann. Could we get an approval, a second, and a vote on the agenda, please?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Thanks, Ann.
Thank you.
I just moved right along. Sorry. Somebody want to make approval?
Catherine Kolinich. Yeah, make a move. I move that we approve the agenda as written.
This is Maggie. I second it.
Right. Yay or nay, Amy Brown?
Yay.
Mary Rita Hurley?
Yay.
Maggie Hilty?
Yay.
Prather? Yay. Dane Jensen?
Yay.
Nicolette?
Yay.
And Nicolette Riley, yay. Okay. Continue.
Well, thanks, Ann. Yeah, sorry, I just moved right along. Okay, so back to the exam. So Cerinthy is on and she's going to talk a little bit more, but we have a couple options. So we just kind of want to discuss about what we need to do, because we need to make it available so that individuals, the office feels that we need to do this, is what you guys need to discuss, that to make it available on Workday so that individuals do not have to come into the office to take the exam, which obviously that means they're traveling to Salem, exposing themselves, exposing us, going back to wherever they're working and potentially, however, there's some downfalls of that and having it on Workday. So let's have a little discussion about that. Has everybody had a chance to read the memo that's in the materials that Cerinthy wrote?
I did. I have a quick question. I just don't recall why we decided to drop the questions from 75 to 50.
You're on mute, Cerinthy.
Yes, I was trying to get my mouse to get over to the little microphone. The reason why we reduced the questions is because we didn't want to allow the full the full examination item bank out there for everyone to see and potentially copy, because we knew that we were going to try to administer it back in the office and or through a secure web browser administration, which we've still been looking into. And so that's why we, out of the 107 questions, we only gave 50 away to the individuals temporarily for that piece of the exam.
Okay.
which that leads right into more discussion that we need to have. So if we put the 75 questions out on Workday, and Cerinthy can talk a little bit about the details of how Workday works, but there is no guarantee that somebody can't either do a screen print or use a phone, or, I mean, it's just this, the exam's not secure. That doesn't mean that is not an option. It's just, you know, we need to sit here and discuss the pros and cons of putting it on Workday and whether or not it's worth it to allow individuals to be able to take it that way. And is that a risk we're willing to take? I mean, you know, what do you guys think?
I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I do think that we've got to figure out a way to continue to allow people to do this without having to drive down to Salem. I don't think it's a long-term fix, but I do think maybe a year. I'll propose that. I am a little worried about the security of the questions, so to speak, if we do that. However, I'm gonna I'm gonna put my college student hat back on. And if there was ever a point where a professor said to me, hey, you've got a test you're gonna take, here's all the questions, you just need to know the answers, I still had to memorize all of the answers. And so I would argue that even if the questions were out there, it's the students, it's not like you can say, oh, 1 is going to be A and 2 is going to be C, because they mix the questions up, correct?
No, they do
So-
not on Workday. There is, you put out on Workday your 50 on the temporary questions or 75. You don't have a bank that pulls them in. Workday does not work like that.
Got it. Okay. So then that is
So-
a problem, because people could just memorize A, B, C, D, whatever.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I wanted to let you know, one of the options that we currently have been made aware of is our current testing system has that secure portal administration that we had talked about last year, where they actually physically monitor the individual taking the examination. And I have a demo on the 8th of February. We already have a contract with them. So changing our contract with them would not be necessarily a problem. We wouldn't have to create a whole new contract. And they have the capability of doing that entire item bank and then randomly pulling in the questions to fulfill the blueprint that we have in place. So that is hopefully going to be moving forward very quickly if we're satisfied with that demonstration. And we have found with the current administration that we have, their costs are so affordable with what they do. Like when we looked at Pearson VUE and Prometric, the costs were just exorbitant. And this company really has been very good to us in regards to the cost factors. So we are looking forward to hopefully moving in that direction at the, of course, the approval of the board.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me, because it not only secures the questions, but it goes back to what I was saying before. Even if they had the questions, they still have to memorize the answer, which is what we want them to know anyway. And so I definitely think that's a great plan moving forward.
Right.
I
This
guess
is
it's
very,
just a matter of how quickly we can move the exam over to them.
right. This is Mary Reed. I think it's a great idea to accommodate people. So, do we have to put a time frame on it, or Sylvie, will you guys make that determination as soon as the state says, hey, COVID's gone, everybody go back to your life? Then would it come off a work day then?
Well,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
so statutorily, you guys approve the exam. So you approve exam. So there is exam. It's been approved.
Right.
also in statutes, though, when the bill passed to add on the residential care, also added in a piece that says that we are to try and we have to make this test available in alternate sites. And so getting the solutions, which is the name of the company that we currently use for testing, we need to get through that process. So I think if we approve to put, if you guys approve having us put the exam on Workday, that will do like basically a temporary to where it allows individuals to be able to take that. And we'll talk more details about what you want on Workday. And then once we have the access to be able to do the solutions, which is the company that Cynthia is talking about, to do this exam through solutions, then we'll switch over to that. So that doesn't change the exam. The exam's the exam. It just changes whom can administer it. So I think you'll know, because we're going to be communicating this out with you, that we're going to work on switching. We're just not ready. We can't do it that fast. And I don't want to wait, because if we wait for the solution option, all these people who are trying to get a license now have to drive to Salem to take the exam. So anybody who's trying to take the exam between January 1 and now has had to come to Salem. So the longer we wait for you guys to make a decision, the longer they have to come to Salem. So that's the reason for this emergency meeting. Not an emergency, but you know what I mean. And so that's where we want to get the Workday solution, and we'll talk more details about what that looks like. And then that will be in place until we have the option to get that the solutions exam up and running. That's going to include us also having knowing how it works. Obviously, we might have to have some equipment because it records individuals as they're taking it. So like you'll be able to, I can sit there and monitor them, make sure they're not cheating, nobody's walking in the room, they're actually sitting at their computer, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things about that we need to get worked out before we're ready to pull that trigger. So today is about Workday and whether or not you feel comfortable about that. Do you want the 50 questions? Do you want the 75 questions? And Cynthia, there's a time limit, correct, on how long they can use to take the exam? Is there a time limit?
Yes, we gave them 90 minutes.
So you can discuss that, whether you want to do 50 questions in less time, you want to do 75 questions in 90 minutes, more time, whatever. And like I said, it's just something to put into place so that Salem is not the only option. They can still make an appointment and come to Salem. And if they're already in Salem and they want to do that, that's fine too. Obviously, if it's on Workday, it's much easier. But that's what today's discussion is about.
And Sylvie, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
I wanted to add one thing into that. If we decide, or if you decide, excuse me, in regards to a reduced amount of questions like we did for the temporary, so we could call this the COVID temporary continuation examination. The examination that currently is in our office is the full examination, the 75 questions. So I would need to have that also downloaded into our current testing system so they mirror each other, so the exam being administered is consistent. So I can't imagine that anybody necessarily would want to come into the office if they have the availability to do it from their own living room. But you never know, I guess.
This is Maggie. I have no problem with it going on Workday. I don't really care if it's 50 or 75. I think at the end of the day, like, the exam's super important, and I totally think we need an exam, but the passing or failing of exam isn't going to directly correlate whether someone's going to be a good RCF administrator or not. So I think accessibility is really important. I think, time limit is important. We don't want them to do it over 6 hours and look up every single answer. But I have no problems with it being there. Let's do it. That's my thought.
This is Amy. I echo Maggie's comments.
So if I'm understanding correctly, because someone's going to have to make a motion, that we're looking to make a motion to continue to use Workday the way it currently is right now with, let's say, the 50 questions. And
so hold on, no, because currently, as of right now, there is no Workday exam.
Oh, right. Okay, so we're making a motion to use Workday with the 50 questions and the 90-minute restriction for now.
Or 75, or 75, because 75 is how many questions there are. So you can do it at 75.
What do you
And
guys
then we don't
think,
have-
50 or 75?
I just have a quick question. I can't remember. Is there math on the test? Because that'll tell me whether I want it to be 50 questions in 90 minutes or 75 in 90 minutes. Because math is hard.
No, there's no math on the exam.
All right. So then, I don't know, 75 in 90 minutes. That sounds fun.
That would make it easier on us, because then we wouldn't have to go in and adjust the exam that's already, so Solutions is the company that we have the exam on in our office. It's a touch screen thing, and that's Solutions. So if you could leave it, if we have it at 75, then we don't have to adjust that exam. If you choose to do 50, then Serenity has to go in and adjust that exam so it matches. Like she said, most likely nobody's going to come into the office. However, they have to be identical. So, and 75 is fine. I mean, you got to remember too that these are now individuals who have not been practicing as a residential care administrator, because you can't practice as a residential care administrator anymore in Oregon without having a license. So these are people who are new to the program. And what the exam was before was intended for your grandfather individuals who supposedly had been working within the last 5 years or whatever or declared that they were going to, or something, all that grandfather stuff. So I think that's maybe why we had down to 50 questions. And then the other thing too, to think about long term, is that this is a laws and rules exam. And as the laws and rules change, whether DHS starts changing some of their regulations, anything happens to us where we end up having to change our regulations, then the exam needs to be looked at, and Serenity would review the questions and either update them, delete them, create new ones. So that down the road, we will be able to update the exam and change it. So even if people do get this one memorized or do have it out there, it's going to eventually change.
Okay, so we're saying 75 questions in 90 minutes. Are we all feeling okay with that? Do I get a thumbs up? Can I get a thumbs up if people are okay with that? I mean, obviously the motion you'll have to, okay, so we would need a motion to.
Well, let's hold on, Nicolette. Let's hear. Dane, did you have anything that you wanted to ask, or any questions or anything?
I did, but they all got answered, so I don't need to. I'm good
Sorry,
to go.
Dane, I can't see your face.
Yeah, it's hard when some people are on the phone. Christine, did you have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Nope, I'm fine with 75 and 90 minutes.
Okay.
This is Amy. My only wonderment is, given these are new folks not with any experience, is 90 minutes. Do we feel that's long enough? What if they don't complete it within 90 minutes?
This is Catherine. So I recently had to take a test in this scenario with a limited, long story short, the most typical is 10 questions less than the amount of minutes you have, right? You get just over a minute to answer a question. That's what's most typical in my world. And I just took a test in this exact scenario with about a minute and a half. If we give too much time with too few questions, I feel like that allows time for hijinks that wouldn't otherwise be there. So I almost would prefer less time with people of knowing that they have to be more efficient with their time than to give too much time and allow time for people to think of things they shouldn't be doing.
Thank you for that.
That's my thought. Anyway.
Catherine, you're correct in regards to the minute per
question.
Test question.
Yeah. And then a little extra for
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Buffer.
Well, and this is Sylvie. Another thing too is part of that the class that they're to take, the 40 hours of class, is to go over this laws and rules in Oregon. So that's part of what they're supposed to be learning in that class. And so hopefully they're also learning that in the class and then also doing some self-study. So
Sylvie, can I just ask a technical question? So
sure.
We're looking to propose the 90 minutes, 75 questions put on Workday. Do we need to also in this motion propose how long we're allowing this or no? But do we need to say we're going to allow this for the next year? Or do we have to put a on it or no?
You can, if you put an end date on it, that means kind of like because you put an end date on the last one, that's the reason we're here right this moment, because you voted to only have it through December 31st. So as of December 31st, we took it down because that's what you voted on. So you're welcome to have a discussion about that. You're also welcome to put that in as a vote, but know that if you do that and we get to whatever date that you're talking about and either solutions isn't ready or the pandemic has gotten worse or it's not over, then you're going to have to do it again. So
Although theoretically, aren't we gonna have this meeting anyway? Because if we make a motion to put it on Workday and then we decide to go to solutions, we're gonna have another meeting to put the new proposal together to move the test to solutions anyway, right?
that is correct. So it's probably better to not have an end date.
Okay.
But that's your guys' choice. I
And
don't want to tell you what to do.
Do we need to also have a motion that we're looking at solutions to move it to that, or that's just behind the scenes stuff?
That's us in the office working on that. We will come to you once we have some more information. For one, we haven't even seen the demo. We need to talk to them about, is there equipment that we need to be able to record monitoring? Are they going to do the monitoring? There's a lot of questions that we don't know all the answers to. Is it going to cost the same? Because we pay a per exam fee for individuals who walk in. Well, you have to have an appointment, but who take an exam in our office. So we pay a per exam fee to them for that. Is the fee going to be the same? Is it more? Is it, so there's a whole lot of information that we don't know enough of yet. And even when we do get all that information, it still may not be something that we move forward with, and you may choose to stay with Workday. We don't know. We haven't gotten that far yet. We don't have enough information to be able to give you enough information to be able to make you guys have a decision. So, but we'll get there. There's a lot of information we've got to try and get. So
basically, we need a motion to take the exam, 75 questions, 90 minutes, and put it on Workday for new. Correct?
that is correct.
Who wants to make that motion?
This is Maggie. I motion to put the exam on Workday, 50 questions in 75 minutes, 75 questions in 90 minutes, too many numbers. Was there anything else? I think that was it.
Okay, is there a second?
This is Amy Brown, and I second the motion.
Okay, let's go for the vote. Brown?
Oh, Nicolette, we can barely hear you.
Okay, needs to go to vote. Amy Brown,
Yay.
Mary Rita Hurley,
Yes.
Maggie Hilty,
Yay.
Christine Prather,
Yay.
Jane Jensen,
Yay.
Catherine Kalnick,
Yay.
and Nicolette Riley. Yay. Okay, good. Nicely done, team.
Perfect. All right. You have a one-liner adjournment.
Do I need to do anything about the public interested parties feedback? Do we have any public on the phone?
No, because it's not on the agenda. This agenda was solely for the exam and Workday, and there's not even a spot to be able to discuss other board business. So the only thing we can discuss today is the Workday exam.
Okay, the long-term care administrators board meeting is adjourned at 10:57 a.m. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.